This Notan Heart project is inspired by Japanese artwork. Notan is a Japanese word for the balance between light and dark. So, in the artwork, there is an emphasis on shapes being in negative space and positive space, or the shape and then the hole where the shape was. So the artwork becomes very balanced and there's a lot of contrast between light and dark. So we are going to create a Notan using paper and focusing on making that positive and negative space by cutting out shapes. We're going to start out with a large square and a smaller square of paper. That smaller square we're going to fold to make a heart. So I'm going to take my pencil and draw starting on the fold, and it looks like a backwards number 2. It is a curved shape that goes up and down. Try to make it as big as you possibly can on this piece of paper and fill up the space. If you cut it out starting on the fold and you use your symmetry, then you will have cut out a heart like this. Now I'm going to open that heart and I'm going to place it in the middle of my paper and trace around it with a pencil. Now I'm going to lift up that heart and I'm going to write back on the back of my heart. This will come in handy later. I am going to start creating my shapes for the Notan. I have to start on one side and draw the line so that it ends on the same side. It cannot go to the middle, it cannot crisscross. It has to end on the same side that I started on. Then I'm going to cut that shape out. After I cut the shape out, then I'm going to place it back in like the puzzle piece, and I'm going to press down on it with the glue stick. That will help me make sure that I glue down the correct side of that shape. The shapes can be organic too, like this one with curved lines that don't actually make anything in particular. I will draw the line first, then cut it out. Then I'm going to place it back in like a puzzle piece and pick it up with the glue stick. That way I'm putting the glue on the right side of the shape. I will glue it down so that it stays in place where it is supposed to as the negative space or in the positive space of that shape. Now let's get fancy and do a double Notan. I am going to create a basic square. I'm going to cut out that basic square. I'm going to put the basic square back in like a puzzle piece, but this time I'm going to draw another shape inside on the same line of that shape. It's the same shape and the same line, and it starts and ends on the same side. This is called a double Notan because I have created double negative space and double positive space. let me show you a shape that will not work well. I am going to draw my line that starts on one side and ends on another. Even though it's on a curve, it ends up on a different side of the heart. When I cut it out, it will work, but it will not work as well as my other shapes. So you have to start and stop on the same side. See? There's not the right amount of negative space because there isn't enough space in between the two lines. So I'll just place it and leave a little bit of negative space in between. However, you can avoid this as long as you keep your lines starting and stopping on the same side of your shape. Now that my Notan is complete, I am going to pick it up very carefully and flip it over. Before, I wrote the word back on it, on the back, and that is where you need to put your glue. Chances are you might have cut that word out, at least part of it, but you will probably be able to see enough of it to know which side is the back. If not, you can just line it back up to all your shapes and flip it over so that you put the glue on the correct side. Put glue on it and then turn it over, and be very careful to glue down each of your little pieces without ripping them off or tearing them. And voila, you have created a Japanese Notan paper heart. I cannot wait to see all of your creations.